Hey guys, what's up? I'm just Joni for the QC FitFest podcast, and I've got Chris Maltsburger here with me as well. And we are so excited to just be welcoming you to the River Center Saturday, September 11th from 11 to 6. We are going to have over 40 interactive vendors for you to try, for you to get active and involved with, to see what flavor of exercise and movement for your body fits your needs best. We're going to be doing some education from the main stage with our special guests, Don Fry from the UFC Hall of Fame, Ken Yashuda. He's a pro bodybuilder, Mr. Japan. He's going to be sharing some of his tips and tricks, along with Jason Cappy, two-time NBA champ with the Bulls. And then I'm going to be talking about mindset, how we have to change how it is that we approach our body and our physical health from a holistic perspective versus the perspective that most of us have been raised to look at our body through. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that and thanking so many of our wonderful vendors and sponsors for being a part of this first ever interactive QC FitFest. On the line with us now, we've got Pat Miletich, another UFC Hall of Famer, a good friend to QC FitFest, and he has been talking about, if you're following him anywhere on social media, he has been sharing his passion and love for nutrients in the body and how it fuels exactly what you need in order to not only perform athletically, but to feel better, to get over illness, to prevent illness. It's amazing some of the things that he's been sharing. So we couldn't go a day longer without talking to Pat Miletich about Black Oxygen Organics. Pat, tell us a little bit more.
Well, thank you, Joni and Chris. The thing about Black Oxygen, I have to say, through my lifetime, I had a damaged respiratory system from my bedroom was in the basement of a house, my mother's house. And unfortunately it had a bad foundation. So every time it rained, it flooded, which back in those days, we weren't aware of black mold and the damage due to the respiratory system. So I struggled with endurance my entire life. My wrestling coach in high school even asked me if I smoked cigarettes because of it. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me until right when my professional kickboxing career started. I was given a product, not Black Oxygen, but it was maybe a predecessor that increased oxygen at a cellular level by 20%. And after being on that product, I noticed that I went from sparring maybe 3 boxing rounds with professional boxers to doing 10 rounds in about a week to 2 weeks. And my endurance started to explode. And because of that product back then, it literally made me a world champion. I was able to train correctly. My body healed up, and I was able to do the things that I could never do before, endurance-wise, strength-wise, and everything else. So fast forward many, many years. I was contacted about a year and a half ago.
Sure.
That's a long time. So I was contacted about a year and a half ago, really right around a little after the start of the COVID lockdowns. And a good friend of mine called me up. And he said, I want to tell you about this product. And he started talking about Black Oxygen and going through the different things that it does for the body. And he got to the point where he said 45% more oxygen at the cellular level. And I said, don't say anything more. You don't need to. I already know what this is going to do for me and for anyone else that gets on it. And since then, obviously, I've learned a lot more. And people can go back and reference a book called Dead Doctors Don't Lie, where it talks about he's a guy, a doctor that has done more autopsies on animals and humans that have died of natural causes than anyone else. And in that book, he writes that every living organism dies because of nutrient deficiency, lack of minerals. And basically that's what's happening to Americans. Americans are getting sick, and people around the world, actually. We're not able to fight off disease, and we're getting sick with so many different ailments because we don't have nutrients left in our soil. And people can reference Senate document 264, which was 1936, where scientists and doctors testified in front of the Senate about the explosion in disease in Americans was due to lack of nutrients in the soil. So it's been 84 years that they've known this, and we really haven't been educated about it. So fast forward again to Mark St. Onge from Canada, who's a nutrient expert in soils around the world, tested dozens and dozens of bogs in Canada to find the one that was the most nutrient rich. Once he found it, then he went down to the layer 40 feet under the mud in that bog is a 5-foot deep sediment layer of all the nutrients of 1,500 different types of plants that have decomposed for 60,000 years. So when you put that in your body, it's nanotechnology created by God. whatever that is. You hear scientists talk about creating nanotechnology. Black oxygen is naturally nanotechnology. So it can go into the cells and out of the cells. On its way into the cell, it delivers nutrients to the mitochondria, which create energy because the mitochondria is the furnace of the cell. It increases oxygen inside the cell up to 45%. And on its way out, it chelates or removes heavy metals, toxins, and even viruses. And it creates an alkaline environment inside the cell where we all know who've done the research. It's a very difficult situation for disease and sickness to exist inside an alkaline cell. It also removes inflammation from the body, respiratory system. Respiratory system, arterial system, the muscles, the joints, resets the hormonal system. It has natural occurring organic iodine in it, so people's thyroid function is coming back. Testosterone and estrogen levels are going back to where they're supposed to be. Resets the gut bacteria, cleans off the intestines, and I tell you what, I've just seen a lot of really amazing testimonials over the past year and a half because of it.
And it sounds like the data and the testing and the research behind this technology, I guess, if you will, or this product is truly amazing. And when I had first started taking this, one thing I did not realize until I ran into Joni and our other partner, Jesse Anderson, that you could mix this with another powerful product. For instance, like for myself, and I know for Jesse and probably Joni as well, we take this thing called Green 85. And I did not realize that you can mix the two together. So, Pat, for one of our listeners who might not know the advantages of this, explain the advantages of mixing this with something like a Green 85 or something along those lines.
Yeah, so it has 60 times its carrying weight going into and out of the cell. So 60 times its carrying weight to deliver nutrients into the cell. So when you take Greens 85 with it, obviously it's going to bond with the goodness of Greens 85 and deliver it into the cell. I also take downrange supplements. Their aminos have helped me quite a bit, and their protein. So I'll take all that stuff together with the black oxygen and drink it. So it'll deliver any goodness you put into deliver it into your cells.
Now, it also comes in, now I take the powder form, but can you tell the listeners what other types of forms? I believe there's a tablet, and how can you consume this?
They have the tablets, which will dissolve in water, and the powder. I prefer the powder. The powder is the original form. After the flash freeze drying, they freeze it and use a CO2 pressurized process to turn it into a powder. And so that's the original form. That's what I prefer. I feel it's more powerful. And that's kind of just what I tell people about it.
Yeah, well, there's been so many testimonials too, as far as people who reach out to you, Pat. I mean, you're like constantly posting these awesome texts that you're receiving from people, including your own brother and your own family who uses black oxygen. What are some of the results that people are experiencing?
Well, and I have to say that this does not treat, cure, or prevent any disease or sickness. I have to say that because it's an all-natural, organic, plant-based product. It is not a drug, so therefore it's not an FDA situation. So anyway, I've seen numerous testimonials, including my brother, about cancer. My brother's cancer was very severe last year. He had blastoid mantle cell lymphoma, which was very aggressive. It's a very aggressive form of lymphoma, and he wasn't long for the world. I can just say that. He was very jaundiced, very yellow, very, very emaciated. His internal organs had swollen, some of them. He had to sell his company, his landscape business because of it. And so he had gotten blood tests done before the 4th of July at my house when he showed up. But when I saw him, I immediately got him some black oxygen and said, get on it. And after he got on it, about 40 days later, he let me know that his pain had gone away, the swelling in his internal organs had gone away, and he then got his blood results back from previous black oxygen, and it showed that his white blood cell count was through the roof. Red blood cell count was way off. Most of the chemicals within his body were way off. And just off the white blood cell count, you could tell he was extremely sick and in a lot of trouble. That much longer after that, when he was in Iowa State, the University of Iowa hospitals, they did blood test count and all those chemicals, everything had balanced out already. And about a little over 2 months, I think it was, after that point, after starting Black Oxygen, they did more tests and it came back that they could not find any blastoid mantle cell lymphoma in his blood work at all. And he has been in remission since. So this has happened. The oncologists at the University of Iowa have sent people to my brother to get Black Oxygen, which is amazing that oncologists are doing that. And people with rheumatoid arthritis, asthma, COPD, diabetes, a lot of other things are really being helped a lot by being given the proper nutrients, the actual organic nutrients that our bodies are supposed to have that we just can't get off a store shelf anymore. And certainly not in a bottle of inorganic vitamins and minerals.
Pat, that's so amazing. I like every time I hear a story of people using nutrition to help heal their body, no matter the ailment, it sends shivers down my spine because it makes me nerd out even more about food and minerals. And it solidifies this idea that our bodies are truly healing machines. We just have to give it the right environment.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. You know, there's so many toxic things in the world right now. The air we breathe, you know, the water we drink, the food we eat. I mean, it's literally everywhere. So we've got to be able to chelate and get those things out of our body. And Black Oxygen does a great thing of doing that, or a great job of doing that. And so I've learned more in the past year and a half about really proper supplementation and proper diet and everything else that goes with that, the human experience of being healthy. Starting with Black Oxygen, I've learned more about how to get things done for the body properly than I ever learned as a coach, a professional athlete, all of that stuff. I thought I knew what I was talking about, and I had no idea.
You know, and on that, you know, that's a perfect segue, you know, to your path of learning more about Black Oxygen and just health in general, as well as myself and Joni. Obviously, we're all continuous students of learning, and that's kind of what this expo is all about. You know, the QC FitFest Expo is all about it's being interactive and engaging, and more importantly, educational. We want to let people know in our community what is right here in our backyard and what's available to them. And that's why we're very excited to have you down there as one of our vendor booths, Pat, to kind of educate our community on Black Oxygen and the amazing, I guess, things that go along with it, health benefits that go along with it. So I got to ask you, how can people find this? You know, is there a website people can go to? How can people link up with you and with Black Oxygen?
Sure. Thanks, Chris. They can go to, and yes, we need to educate people and because so many people just have no idea the food that they're putting in the body is literally destroying their body. And, you know, all the processed foods and the other products, you know, once you destroy the body mentally, physically, you know, everything starts to fall apart. Then you end up taking products from, you know, medical community sometimes that can make things even worse. And so we really want to educate people about how to stay ahead of the curve and how to really, education is power. And we want people to have that, what do they call it? You know, empowering people to be able to protect themselves from the products that are out there and from the environment. And so that's just really important. So people can find Black Oxygen though, if they go to blackoxygenorganics.com/PJ Miletich. So blackoxygenorganics.com/PJ Miletich, and they can order the powder or tabs. I prefer the powder. Again, I think it's more powerful, but it's once a day and people can find out for themselves.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere with that health journey, and it's never too late to start, especially, you know, as you're learning, you know, even after your pro career, even after, you know, everything that you're doing, you're learning even more about how nutrients fuel the body for performance, for life, for everyday wellness. And this is really the most preventative and proactive thing you can do. So, Pat, I'm really looking forward to having you and Black Oxygen Organics at the QC FitFest. This is totally the heartbeat of where I live in our everyday life, the things that we can do that are easy. I mean, you just drop this in your water and go.
100%. It is. the easiest product to take in the world. It really is.
Right. So, I mean, there's no reason now why we can't be healthy. There's no excuse in the world that means that we can't be healthy. And this is a great supplement to be able to also kind of get you on your health journey. If you're like thinking, okay, I really eat a lot of processed foods right now and I want to be able to get healthier, where do I even start? And this is just like, boom, in your water, you're giving yourself a little boost of nutrition. And as you feel better, as your body is more energized and nutrified, as I like to call it, then you start making healthier choices for yourself.
Yeah, this is true. And that's like when people say have the flu and their skin hurts and things like that when they're sick. That's actually their body healing. They don't realize it. But what their body is doing is the viruses are bonding with the toxins in your body, within your cells, and you're shedding those out of your skin. So when you feel sick, you're actually in the process of trying to heal, where people just don't think of things that way.
No, I mean, that's basically it. You know, I'm super excited. This is, again, not to revert back to my what I said a little bit ago, but this is exactly what we're here for. You know, on one thing we always say, Pat, Joni's heard me say this 1,000 times. When this idea came to me, it kind of came out of necessity. You know, I wanted to start my health and fitness journey, didn't know where to start. You know, there's not a one size fits all when it comes to your health and journey path. And that's kind of been our motto throughout the last few months. And I didn't know where to start. I'm not really big on, I don't know, you know, you get on the computer and everyone finds, you know, CrossFit, and maybe CrossFit's not for them, or maybe there's supplements, maybe supplements not for them. Some people can go to the gym 6 days a week. Some people, want to take meat out of their diet. There's just so many different avenues that you can get into. And I think that the word health is thrown around very loosely nowadays. And I know that I've seen a tremendous difference when I started taking the black oxygen myself, as well as the green 85. Those are kind of the only two things that I've really been taking so far.
Hold on. Don't let him fool you, Pat. He gets to take B12 every time I see him because I make him.
Yes, and B12. Yes. Joni introduced me to B12 very abruptly and squirted it in my mouth without me even knowing what it was one time, and gave me a bottle and said, "Here, start taking this." And I did. So, and I thank Joni for that. So,
well, that's great.
Absolutely. But I really appreciate everything that you're doing as far as educating people on this product. I think it's truly amazing. I think it's a game changer in people's lives, for everybody, whether it's the professional athlete like yourself, the health expert like Joni, or just the schlub that was sitting on his couch way more than he should have, trying to find his way to not run out of breath walking up the stairs, taking laundry upstairs. You know what I mean? I think it's for I think it's for everybody. And that's the truly amazing part about this. And to Joni's point earlier, it's very simple. You put it in water and you shake it and you go, and you're on your way, and you're starting a successful, hopefully it will be a successful day. So I appreciate everything, Pat. And I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on tonight's show. And again, I want to let all of our listeners know, you can stop by Pat's booth Saturday, September 11th. He will be there with some black oxygen products. Make sure to stop by, say hi, get more educated one-on-one with Pat. And Pat, I will also make sure that when we post this podcast to our Facebook, I will put your link so that anybody who might want to purchase this can get on there and purchase that stuff.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, both of you.
Oh, yeah. Well, just join us for QC FitFest. Head over to QCFitFest.com. Check us out on social media as well at QC FitFest on Facebook and Instagram. And we'll be checking you guys out, seeing you at the River Center Saturday, September 11th for the QC FitFest Expo.